Welcome, my friends, again to our discussion of the phrases of the 52 phrases which I share in my book Spirituality 104, The Reflection and the Magical Mirror of Our Minds. These phrases, which I pick and select as the best from all my books, my 6 books from the trilogy of the series, uh, I tend to believe that they carry a wisdom that I've learned, like I said before, because of the mistakes I made in my life. And from these mistakes, I've corrected my point of view and learned to be a little bit more wisdom, more wise. I hope so anyway. But I think at 81 now, at 81 years of age, I do much less mistakes than when I was about 8 to 10 years old. Quite a difference. And I'm happy I've been able to do that. And here, what I do is share my experiences of learning with you, with certain phrases that carry a certain wisdom within them that come from my books. Let's go for the one today. This is the book. Okay, you can get it in Amazon and most places. And this is the wisdom, the phrase I would like to share today. In the magical mirror of your mind, with the mind is our mirror, the clarity or the clearness of your reflection or your self-esteem, the way you see yourself, depends on the purity of your vision. Depends how we see each other. Let's say it again. In the magical mirror of your mind, the clarity of your reflection or your self-esteem, the way you believe about yourselves, depends on the purity of your vision. You have to remember, according to my own concepts I write in my books, when God made us in His image, to each one of us, when He looks upon His creation, He only sees us as perfect beings, potential perfect beings, which will work towards finding their own perfection as they learn in life from their mistakes. But He never sees us in the critical manner. It's like parents always think their kids are the most beautiful ones, the most intelligent ones, the best athletes, no matter what happens. I know that. I've been, I'm a father and a granddad. And that is the natural prejudice of us. Can you imagine how God feels about us? He feels we are the greatest thing that ever happened in creation. But no matter what role do we have, physicians, workers, plumbers, mechanics, it doesn't matter. Those are local actions that man has to live with, which I call the Son of Man. But as sons of God within us, we are purely, perfectly made. But we haven't found out yet that we were made perfectly. So when we look at our reflection in our mirror, we see ourselves, we learn from life that we made mistakes, or we receive criticism from teachers, from parents, friends, that we have a lot of defects in ourselves. And we believe that because they see it through their own prism and their prejudice. But we don't have to agree with the imperfections that they tend to give us because they're only man made, they're not God made. But God tells me when I look into my heart and I face the Son of God that I am perfectly made, but I have to discover and work to find that perfection. Is living in this difficult world with the difficult things we see around and the difficult people we see around, that we have to learn to understand that concept or phrase that God said, please forgive them for they do not know what they do. It implies that most of our mistakes are made by not knowing the results of our mistake. That is why making mistakes helps us to avoid them in the future. And it depends how long is your life. The more you live, the more mistakes you've made, but also the more you have learned not to make them. That's why elderly people can always tell wisdom, advice to kids, grandkids, and friends. It's nice to sit down with an elder. Elders are very respected in the Oriental world because of their wisdom. So you have to remember that if we keep finding specks or defects on the other people's eyes, we're never going to find the beauty in our own eyes. So we have to feel properly that we are perfectly potentially created and learn to find that beauty within ourselves. And before we find it within ourselves, we have to visualize in others, even with the defect of others' personalities, things, and whatever happened. We have to see them also as our brothers in spirit in Christ, that they're also perfectly made. But you have to remember they have not realized that yet. They act because they do not know yet the results of their actions. So let's forgive ourselves and forgive others and learn to see yourself in the beauty of God's creation. Thank you for being with me for a couple of minutes. Bye. Blessings.